Better Ending is a historical romance. It's a whirlwind roller coaster story inspired by true events. It follows the story of my great-grandmother Charlotte, my grandmother Elsa, and my mother Linda. I was intrigued by these fantastical stories that I grew up with listening to from my mother and my aunt. Stories like my great-grandmother Charlotte abandoning her 4 children to run off with the gypsy lodger while her husband was fighting in the battles of the Somme in World War I. And so for me it was a real voyage of discovery to find out, to walk in their shoes and find out how they ended up where they ended and how they could do what they did. I wanted to follow up on my family history, primarily at the beginning because there was a missing piece in my mother's story. So her father was a German POW. She never got to meet him. He actually was repatriated back to Germany a month before she was born in Derby Hospital in 1948. And so part of it for me was wanting to trace him because it was this really important missing piece for my mother. Now, we haven't found him yet, but I still have a hope that even by putting this story out there, that somebody might know somebody and we might find him. So it was really amazing to discover new members of the family. When I was 12 years old, my mother took me into her room. She sat me down and she shared with me that actually I wasn't the firstborn. There were twins that she'd had when she was 17 years old that she'd had to adopt out. This kind of made sense to me. Some of the dots connected because I realised why she'd been so protective of me. And with Facebook, I've been able to stalk my mother's ex-boyfriend from when she was 17 and discover a little bit about him, the kind of man he was. I won't spoil the story, it's in the book. But it was really intriguing to me to see the 70-plus-year-old man with his arm around 2 buxom, blonde, 20-something girls, and to find out that he's had over 16 children to different mothers, and my mother's story is in there as well. So with self-publishing, or indie publishing as they like to call it, I have got full control over my work. I own it, and I am able to upload it to Amazon or Kobo or iBooks, and within 48 hours I can have my book on the market. I'm able to do multiple things with it, so I'm able to have an ebook and an audio book, and I'm able to have a print-on-demand book and different translations. So the possibilities with the new technology are endless. It's a really exciting time. With a traditional publisher, you might receive 10% royalties. With self-publishing, you're looking at between 70 and 80% royalties. So it's also potentially an income stream. For anybody who is interested in exploring the independent self-publishing option, I can highly recommend Joanna Penn, that's Penn with a double N, from the Creative Pen. If you explore her website, there's so much resource, videos and blogs and articles on how best to become an independent publisher, to make sure that the quality is there to get the resource and professional help you need, so that you can produce something that is worthy of people's time and money and attention. I've wanted to write this novel for over 10 years. I'd had a busy career in publishing, and then at the University of Auckland for 14 years in the Alumni Relations Department. But I had a dream, a creative rural dream, and I knew I wouldn't fulfill it here. And I didn't want to wait until I was retired to fulfill it. So about 3 years ago, I took a risk and I moved to Mangawai, bought a home, and I, as well as working, I set out to write this story. And it's been a whirlwind story to write. A lot of people would meet my mum today and they would think how lucky she is She's beautiful and funny and witty, and she's travelled a lot. And they wouldn't actually know her start, where she started. It was a very tragic beginning. And so for me, writing this story is really about showing hope in the midst of a very dark start, that you can actually have a better ending.